Did you know that less than 35% of the information that you've received during any sort of sales training, or any training for that matter, disappears about a day after that training? And after a week following that training, it drops down to 25%. So, just to put that into context, if you were to participate in some sales training and there is 100% of information shared with you, obviously you're not going to pay attention or retain absolutely everything. So let's assume for a moment, using the 80-20 rule, not fool, that you pick up 80% of that content, okay? Of that 80%, which now becomes the 100% that you're retaining, 35% of that within about 24 hours or so is all you've got left. So about 50% disappears. After a week, right, you're down to 25%. It's called the forgetting curve, and there's been lots of studies done to try and identify when you participate in any sort of learning exercise, such as sales training, how much of that information do you really retain? Now, I've been doing customized sales training for decades at this point. You can tell by not only the color of my hair, but if I turned around, it would really be evident. And ultimately, what you'll find is that when it comes to sales training, or again, training of any kind, it's a lot of information. Right? I still participate in training at my level to help me grow as an individual as well as in my business. And I'm assuming as a sales professional, you do as well. And I've been delivering training for nearly 2 decades at this point. And what I've done is tested different methodologies and ways to ensure that we combat that number. Now, what I mean by combat is we reduce the chances you're going to miss out on or forget about the information that we've covered. How do we do that? Well, there's 4 key elements that you want to make sure that any sales training you participate in includes. First off, it's that preparation learning mindset. When it comes to participating in any training, let's assume for a moment it's a day of training. Maybe you're going to a sales kickoff meeting and there's some training or information in that meeting. Maybe you're just going to a full day workshop or program. Maybe you're doing this online. Whatever the case is, a lot of times we're walking out of our life, right, into the training. So you got off a call, you jump into the training. You just had a call with your family, or you drove into work this morning and you're jumping right into the training. There's got to be some preparatory time to get your mind right and to allow you to focus on what's at hand. Because let's be honest, if you just jump into a workshop, it's going to take some time to get into the workshop. You've got other things happening. And then, of course, you've got distractions during. But before the workshop, there needs to be some exercises that are relevant to you that help you start to think about what you're going to cover in the training. As an example, when I'm going to be doing a workshop of some kind, I give an exercise to all the participants beforehand. And during the workshop, we're referring back to and debriefing on some of the findings. So essentially what I say is, okay, here's the scenario that you may face today. Observe that scenario. What are some of the challenges you're facing? And then we're going to talk about it. But then during the training, we're breaking down those components, giving them best practices, helping them identify adjustments individually and collectively that would help them get better results. And as a return, they come back and reflect on, okay, so here was my scenario. How would I change that knowing this? But the key to all this is just getting them to think about what we're going to discuss prior to the session. Get them into that learning mindset. Now, there's different methods and ways I do that, but that is critical. So if you're participating in training, you're not being given a pre-training exercise. You've got to create one for yourself to make sure that you're in the right mindset going into that training. The second most important point to any sort of sales training is live application exercises. And what I mean by that is not only does there have to be exercises, most training has exercises. There'll be exercises you do on your own, There'll be exercises you do maybe in a group. Maybe you're going to go and present in front of the group, particularly in sales training. But they've got to be real world application exercises, not theoretical things you'll never use. I've got a program that I've delivered for years for sales professionals on how to present effectively to their prospects, right? And to large rooms and committees, as well as going to events and speaking and presenting, right? So the program covers quite a bit of information, but the key is this, that when it comes to applying that information in the workshop, they actually get up in front of the room of their peers and present. We give them time to create a presentation using the methodologies I share, and they present and share that in front of the group, and they get live feedback. Why? Well, you've got to be able to apply what you're learning for it to stick with you. Again, lots of studies on the topic, but the fastest way to retain information is to apply it to your situation. Not theoretical, not in general terms. Apply it to something you're dealing with. So there's got to be live application exercises that are included as part of that training. The third thing I want you to consider is that after the training, there's got to be some follow on. There's nothing worse than hit and run training, right? We've all gone to training. Maybe it's been a great day. We've learned a lot, but then you go back to your 165 emails in your inbox, your meetings, your discussions, and within a couple of days, it's forgotten, hence the forgetting curve. So there's got to be something following the training that continues to reinforce the application of what you've learned. And if the application exercises within the training are designed correctly, then it's very easy to create post-training application exercises to continue to build those new skills. So make sure that any training you participate in has post-training application exercises that are relevant for you. If they're not, you're going to have to come up with some on your own. It's something I include in all of my workshops and have for years, because again, the goal of training is to change our behaviors, right? We've got a way of doing things now, and we're trying to say, well, here's some different ways to do that. Here's some better practices to apply. But then there's got to be replication of those new skills in order for them to stick. Otherwise, we go back to doing things the way we always have. The fourth and final step I want you to consider is this, that when it comes to training, even if there's post-training application exercises, it's easy for us to fall back to old habits. So there's got to be a post-training process that includes constant review of key messages, key materials. This should typically last at least 30 days. Best practice is up to 90 days post-training. Why? We're going back and simply highlighting, hey, here's things we discussed. Here is how you applied it. Here's what you shared with me, right? We're reminding us of, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that. So this gives you a sense of, if you want to participate in sales training that's highly effective, it should contain these four components. And the reason why is simply to overcome something that we all deal with, which is the forgetting curve. The good news is this: if you're participating in training that does not have these elements, you could create the elements on your own. Alternatively, if you're looking at participating in sales training and you don't have enough information to be able to create this for yourself, ask the instructor, ask the organization, are these things that are included in your sales training? It's to your best interest to learn as much as you can and to avoid forgetting that information. The only way to really do that is to apply these four steps. So, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you'd like some specific videos on how to increase or improve your selling skills, check this video out next. And until next time, let's get out there and go sell something. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.